Welcome to The Divide with Mike and Corey, two diehard baseball fans who don't agree on anything. Which side will you choose? This is The Divide.
Welcome to The Divide with Mike and Corey.
That's your boy Todd Frazier.
Hey guys, I'm Julie Stewart-Banks.
Hey, what's up? This is Cliff Floyd. You can catch me on The Divide.
You can catch me on The Divide on Fox Sports The Gambler.
Hopefully our disagreements one day bring us all together.
So stupid. So corny. And so stupid. I hope our disagreements bring us together.
Yeah, I do. This is The Divide.
And welcome everybody to The Divide on Fox Sports The Gambler, 102.5 Philly, 104.1 Trenton. We are back.
We are back.
After a week. That's the first time we've taken time off.
Yeah, but to be fair, we recorded 2 episodes before we left. So
Right, correct.
So yeah.
Correct. But then we had a lot of content in the week. Scott Braun was awesome. We could have kept going at least another hour or two talking to Scott.
So we had 2 different eventful weeks. That kind of, you could have been at mine. I should have been at yours. Well, I'm not a woman, so I guess.
Well, that's right. You had a big.
I should have been with you.
Yeah. I mean, I did. I went to lunch with Pop. So you had a bachelor party weekend, and I had a baby shower weekend, which are 2 different ends of 2 different spectrums.
2 different parts of life.
We're not going to tell you who had more fun,
right?
But I'm sure you can draw your own conclusions.
I tried to unionize a McDonald's.
You tried to unionize a McDonald's?
I did.
Tell me, what was your platform? Was it the ice cream machine? Is that the
No, I swear, yes. I went to McBroken.com. So, well, let me back up in the story a little bit. All right. So
this was not in this state. You went to Florida.
We're in Florida. It's St. Patty's Day. What else are you gonna do than go to an Irish restaurant like McDonald's?
Of course.
And after a night of drinking,
I think the Mick makes it Irish, right?
Yeah, it was funny because we went to their version of like a Wawa, and we're like, hey, what would you eat if you were hungry here? She's like, I'd walk across the street to McDonald's. It was trash. They had nothing there. It was hilarious. It was Special K.
I thought Florida had. I've heard of Special K.
They're not as easy. Like we have like 4 or 5 Wawa stores.
You could swing a cat and hit a Wawa, which is a crazy expression.
It's a great idea too.
I hate
you should
swinging
cats.
a cat.
Yeah.
But when people are like, we can swing a cat by a tail and hit this, and you're like, why are you doing this? I don't. Anyway.
So we're eating Buddy Arge, but shout outs to Timmy. He's getting married.
Poor guy.
It was his bachelor party weekend. We're there, and this alarm's going off the entire time to the point where
in the McDonald's
to the point where we're like, yo, what's up with this alarm? Like you would swear like the Hamburglar was back there on life support. Like that's how bad it was. Like I was like, this isn't an operating room. Like there is no reason for this alarm to go off.
Employees did not seem phased.
Nobody's phased except for me. And then like the rest of like there's 8 of us. We're like 8 deep. Now it's bothering them. So I finally go up there. I'm like, yo, what's the story with the alarm? And the one lady like grabs a trophy and she's like, this is why we use that alarm, blah, blah, blah. It's for the fry machine. And it just like keeps them fresh. Like it lets them know when to dump more fries, and they're like flawless with it. But I'm like, that's cool. But like, don't you hear that in your sleep? And like the one employee is like, that's off the clock now. It's like, yeah, we do. And then all of a sudden there's 2 other employees that are off the clock. And so I pull up the McBroken and I'm like, it says that their machine's broken. I swear. Like it says their machine is broken on the McBroken. I was like, is your machine really broken? And they all kind of like snicker at each other. Right. And he's like, no, it's not. The one guy hops over the counter and turns it on and pours himself some ice cream. The manager gets so mad that he charged them $17 for the ice cream.
Charges who?
His own employees.
Hold on. Hold the phone.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I'm super happy that all those employees, after they clock out, hang out there.
Yeah.
They really seem like close friends.
They were. They're now my union
McBroken
delegates.
Says that the machine is broken.
McBroken.com said it was broken.
You had asked, is it really broken? Because you see it on McBroken.com.
Right. I'm looking at it on my phone.
And an employee smiles and says no, hops over the counter and
turns it on. pours themselves ice cream.
And the manager charged them $17.
There was 2 or 3 ice creams, and I'm doing the math. Like even if there were $3 a piece, it wouldn't have been $17.
Right, that's $9.
He was so butthurt. He was so butthurt that now the machine was on. So whether now he had to clean it or whatever, he charged them. He charged them $17. And I said, yeah. But I was like, look, like you deserve free food. And if I was your representative, you would get free food. Like granted, like a couple Jameson shots. It's St. Patrick's Day. And so I tried to we agreed to form a union right there. On
Dude, you know what I've never understood? And even like working in different service industry and different like restaurants and stuff is most restaurants will feed their employees for free, which is dope.
Yeah.
But like McDonald's, who it's like, all right. I remember a close friend of mine when I think it was like in elementary school, his brother worked at McDonald's.
Right.
And he would work the night shift. And every time he closed, instead of throwing out the food,
the expired food.
Food that they made for the day that they couldn't sell the next day, they just let him take it home. No. So it's like you don't give your employees free food throughout the day, but if you work the night shift, you can just take home whatever. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Also, like then you don't have to worry about them going somewhere else for food. You also don't have to worry about them stealing from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would want to eat McDonald's every day, even if I worked at McDonald's.
Yeah, hindsight, if they would have took any other food from the outside of the counter other than this ice cream, I don't think the manager was charging them.
So I have a few questions about the ice cream. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Number one, it's not real ice cream, right? It's
no,
like
it's
a
like
powder and whatever.
Mix. Right. Yeah, no.
I'm happy you know that.
Well, I watched the Founder.
Yeah, me too, man. That's where I know that from.
It's great.
They were all pissed that
like,
it wasn't
how
real
can we
meal
make
ice
it
cream.
cheaper? Use sawdust.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to now know and ask the validity of this McBroken. So first of all,
it was off. So McBroken was right, and I watched him plug it back in.
Oh, so they just had it unplugged?
Yeah, but also like, how does it work? Like, so my theory is, it's on the app. If you can't order it for pickup or delivery,
it says broken.
Then they classify it as broken. So they removed it from the menu because they didn't want to sell it anymore. So then it classifies as broken.
So are these machines just like a pain in the butt to clean, and that's why everybody just turns them off?
Yeah, she was like, nah, not really. Like, the employees, I was trying to get to the root of it. Like, and I feel like it would be a great like series, The Divide.
Oh yeah, like one of those undercovers, where the local news chasing down, sir, can you please tell us why the ice machine is broken?
I mean, his face it's a fat guy with his face blurred out, or a clown.
I'm telling you, man, because it just seems like no matter what, these workers, McDonald's employees, either just hate to make people happy with their. First of all, it's McDonald's ice cream. Like the people that you're pissing off the most are like people with kids that just want $1 ice cream just so they're like, hey, you did great at your dentist appointment. Let's get you some ice cream. And they like, you know what I mean? It's like a cheap way to do that.
Yeah.
But I want to know, why has America made this such a big deal that it's now a big deal? Like, or do people really like McDonald's ice cream?
Right. You know what was the big deal?
They weren't doing Shamrock Shakes? I guess not. If the ice machine wasn't working.
At that point, like I was looking for substance that would actually take away some of the alcohol in my body, and I'm sure the rest of the other 7 guys were. So like we weren't asking about.
Yes, that makes sense.
But
Mike was drunk. Everybody, that's what he's trying. Let's go real quick. Let's continue the food topic here, because you sent me something. And by the way, we are less than a week away from opening day.
We are
less than a week. First of all, I can't believe it is almost here.
Right.
I'm super excited. I want to get to a game hopefully once before this child is born.
Yeah, sooner. In your case, sooner rather than later.
Yes, absolutely. But Yankees have had a very quiet, terrible spring training. The Mets have had a okay spring training. And Philly has just been having a rough go. We'll tell them.
Yeah.
But we'll get into the Reese injury a little bit later, guys. I know that you're looking to hear. I know you're looking to hear our thoughts on this, but and I know that you and Brace talked about it yesterday a little bit as well.
It was still a question mark at that time, so we weren't really sure. But now we know, and
oh yeah, man. I feel sad for Philly right now. But you had sent me a new Yankee Stadium menu.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. And I want to talk about one food item in particular. First of all the food items look good. And I'm not a bit, the one thing I hate about going to the stadium is the food, because it's like, I don't want chicken fingers. I don't want fries. I don't want a burger that just looks like it's been sitting under a heat lamp. And I feel like it doesn't matter. My sports team, whether I love like the Yankees, okay, yeah, you can get sushi at Yankee Stadium. I'm not getting sushi at Yankee Stadium. You know what I mean? Like a hot dog is fine or whatever. But with this new menu, there's like veggie burrito. And I get it. It's all like photos of the executive chef, and he handmade all this stuff. So the photos look dynamite. But there's like a spicy chicken sandwich that looks great. There's a veggie burrito, looks great. There's different milkshakes, and they're all done up. Like, I'm guessing, is this like some sort of special food eatery you get these things at? Because these look like something you would get at a fancy restaurant.
I'm not sure what sections they're going to be available, because that was my biggest gripe about Yankee Stadium. It was all just burgers, dogs, and fries. Like,
I mean, unless you're sitting down at a restaurant, there's like cheesy garlic bread, which just looks like cut up pieces of pizza.
Right.
But there's one thing in particular. I mean, dude, that veggie burrito does look dynamite. Absolutely dynamite. Anyway, is this Judge Burger? I want to talk about this real quick.
Okay.
Because it is inspired by basically an In-N-Out burger, because apparently the executive chef and even Aaron Judge loves In-N-Out because it's a big West Coast thing.
So he didn't go to San Fran. So he
so he brought San Fran to him.
Bronx. Got it.
It costs $19.99, so $20 for a burger, which is just on par with stadium food. But they're only selling 99 of them a day.
Yo, there's gonna be a line through the roof.
I just don't understand how anything is that special.
It claims to have some Japanese meat that's very
It does. It's
exclusive.
got what Wagyu,
Yeah.
some Japanese Wagyu, which is, again, it's 4 ounces. Oh, I'm sorry, not Japanese. 4 ounces of American Wagyu beef patty.
Right. And that's the thing. So that's not really as exclusive as Japanese Wagyu.
It's new school American cheese, caramelized onions, secret sauce, a brioche bun, dill pickle, lettuce, tomato upon request. Yankee Stadium will sell a maximum of 99 burgers a game. I don't get it, man. What is it? First of all, I know there's going to be foodies, and I know as soon as you're exclusive and you can definitely anything you say something exclusive, people just have to have it just to say that they had it.
Right.
But that doesn't, I don't know. What does it do for you? That does nothing for me.
No, I'm excited for new food. Like, don't get me wrong. It was a great presentation. I love this day because, like, when you see it at Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, you know it's coming around the corner, and you know that everybody's geared up for it, from the chefs to all that. Some don't translate into the stadium. You're not going to see a bunch of, donut chicken sandwiches all over the stadium.
No, man. Who has that? Does Philly have that?
The Mets have that.
The Mets, that's what it is.
Speaking of Philly, you know what the Yankees brought in, which is unbelievable. And every Philly fan that I've spoken to cannot believe you guys have done this. And that's our friends at Chicky.
Oh, that's right. That was on the menu. We have Chicky and Pete fries at Yankee Stadium now. In fact, when you sent me the menu, I was like, dude,
that's
pretty
blasphemy, right?
It is.
Like,
pretty,
I don't know. That's crazy.
Good for Chicky and Pete.
You do play the Phillies this year. I don't know if it's home or away, but yeah. So I saw that. I also, Laura Albanese, who covered it for Newsday, she did an amazing job.
So lucky.
We were DMing her in between. She had to, it was like a gauntlet, man. She did the one day she's at Yankee Stadium, the next day she's at Citi Field. She gave the win to the Mets, and it was because of the amount of new product that they had,
right?
But also, like, they got everything, man. It's just nuts. It's nuts. And so she gave them the one up, but she definitely she broke down each and every meal, and she did a great job doing it. So it was exciting to follow her and watch everything unfold. And they're going to do something on the Wednesday right before she'll have a post and stuff, a video post. So it's
Albanese
cool.
well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, listen, and we want to hear what you guys think. When you get to a stadium, and we've done this with hockey before, we've done this with a couple different sports. You let us know, what stadiums have you been to? What foods do you eat? What do you have to have when you walk in? Like, for me, it's a baseball game. It's got to be a hot dog and a beer. You know what I mean? Like, what do you have to get? What are your must-haves for food items? Baseball, hockey, basketball, whatever it is. Hit us up on our social media. Don't forget Divide Live on Instagram, the Divide Live on Twitter. And always check us out on your favorite iHeartRadio app if you can't get us on Friday nights, driving to wherever you need to be, or just in the house listening to the radio. We're going to take a quick break. World Baseball Classic happened. Mike, did you know about that? It was a fast 2 weeks, boy. It was a fast 2 weeks. We're going to go over the results of the World Baseball Classic. That happened earlier in the week. And was it good for baseball? Was it not? A lot of conflicting opinions out there, but Mike and I are going to break it down. Coming up next, Philly, don't go anywhere. This is The Divide live on Fox Sports The Gambler.
Baseball season normally brings us together, unless you're listening to The Divide. Now, here's Mike and Corey.
I'm glad Scott Braun didn't hear that one.
Oh, dude, same.
He would have been
Same.
like, wait.
He would have tore it up. He would have been all over.
Yeah.
That guy, sharp.
Yeah.
He's sharp. World Baseball Classic.
Mm,
My God, bro. Did that happen quick?
yeah.
It was only, it was 14 days.
Right.
Really.
But
Right.
you would think the world was ending by. I had to shut down my Twitter, man. It was getting out of hand.
So I will say that was the one everybody was like, I don't know. It's not going to save the sport. It's not entertaining. First of all, it was so entertaining.
Mhm.
Second of all, the amount of coverage via social media that we saw,
Yeah.
and I understand social media is a lot bigger now, even now, than it was in 2017. But that alone tells you, like, if you turn whatever you turn on, you see it. That's how you know it's big. It's
and
like the Kardashians.
I didn't mind that. I had to turn it off because all the haters. Like there was people hate watching. Some people on this network. They were just like, "Oh, this is a terrible idea." Blah blah blah. And of course, it stems to the whole Diaz getting injured. But by the way, he was celebrating like he just won a free sandwich at Subway. He wasn't jumping on top of people.
No.
It wasn't like that vintage dog pile of something. It was
No. So just let's go. So my co-host is talking about Diaz has season-ending knee injury while he was celebrating after Puerto Rico won. It's like your typical Grammatica injury. Like, it's not a good look regardless of where you are.
Right.
Like, people are outraged and they're blaming the World Baseball Classic. And I think the outrage should be like he was celebrating it. And whether he was celebrating big or not.
I think of Jabba Chamberlain. Didn't he like break his ankle on a trampoline? Do you remember that? That was like his downfall.
Was it a trampoline or
Yeah,
did
and
he
he
fall
was
down
so
a flight of
scared.
stairs? I
No,
always forget.
I heard it was a trampoline.
I think Jabba was a trampoline.
And
He was playing with his
he almost
kids.
bled to death.
Yeah,
because
because he didn't want to call
report it.
anybody.
Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, Boone hurt. He blew out his knee playing basketball.
exactly.
Like, what are we
exactly.
talking about here?
Yeah.
To me, everybody directed their anger towards the World Baseball Classic. If he had celebrated the opening day
His
win
daughter's
and
birthday.
saved,
Like he
not
was,
even like let's just keep it to baseball, because
Right.
a lot of people have the opinion of this is why professionals shouldn't do it. Like, okay, so let's say the professionals are in the World Baseball Classic
Right.
and it's opening day and Diaz has an insane save and he celebrates and he has the same injury. Are you okay with that? Are you still not mad? Are you going to ban celebrating? Like, let's dissect this to what it really is, a freak incident.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's upsetting and it costs a lot of people a lot of money.
Mhm.
And the morale wasn't exactly the greatest. And of course, everybody got these conflicting ideas, but why are we blaming the World Baseball Classic
No.
for this?
And-
If he celebrated during spring training, are you going to tell us, let's get rid of spring training?
Yeah, and here's a fun fact. Steve
I
Cohen.
love your fun facts.
Steve Cohen's a great businessman.
He's an okay
Guess
businessman.
what was 100% covered?
His health insurance?
Edwin Diaz's salary.
Yes.
So it's covered through insurance.
Mhm.
Insurance is now paying Edwin Diaz, not the Mets. That money comes off the books. He can now reinvest it in winning this year. So
now I think there's a little fraud going on. That's what
it's
I think.
insurance fraud.
That's almost
He's like,
too
listen,
good.
I can never play again.
Nobody gets hurt
Yeah.
celebrating like
But-
that. You're right.
But like also like a professional athlete jumping 3 inches off the ground gets injured. Like, how does that
Have you
happen?
ever seen Bartolo Colon jump?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying,
Who knows?
it's bizarre that we're talking about guys that are gods, right? Essentially, and they get injured in the most simplistic way. So
Hold on a second. I understand what you're saying, but I don't like the reference of baseball players to gods, because I feel like of all the sports, baseball players are the most injury prone ones. Like they're the
Yeah, 'cause
ones
they're
where
playing 162. Nobody else is playing.
right.
more
Well,
games than that.
you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
I'm more
But
than
you
right.
know, I'm just saying.
And that
you
doesn't
know,
include
you
playoffs, and that
can't-
doesn't
my
include spring
hamstring is
training.
bothering me today.
Yo, but the funniest thing is
like they need the same steroids that football has, and there won't be any issues. You know what I mean?
I bit my tongue, but Braze had a caller on, and I forget which one. We had a lot today, yesterday. We were going through it, and they agreed that the World Baseball Classic should like take place like sometime in August, and like MLB could shut down or whatever. But that's why the World Baseball Classic exists, because we couldn't do the Summer Olympics because no sport, the baseball was too big to shut down for the Summer Olympics.
Right.
So so eventually the Summer Olympics got tired of just basic minor leaguers coming from Team USA, and you know, pretty much anybody from the MLB could not play in the Olympics. So they got rid of the sport. And then that's where the World Baseball Classic was built.
Born.
And you know, a lot of people are like, you don't even know who won it last year. Like, yeah, dude, it's every 3 years. Just like every 4, like the Olympics.
Yeah.
So it's just like you know, it's funny. So like you know, there's a lot of outrage, and that's why I had to shut down my Twitter. What I will share real quick, when I was in Florida, dude, everybody had it on their phone. You know, the buddy I was with, Ernie, he was live streaming the Puerto Rico game the entire time, excited about it. We were bumping into people. They were walking into us, watching, you know, the Venezuela USA game. Like, it was just, there was so much action and people celebrating throughout the city that it was insane.
Well, the timing is perfect, right?
Yeah.
Basketball winding down, getting ready for playoffs. Hockey winding down, getting ready for playoffs. Baseball, spring training starting up. Football, what is Aaron Rodgers doing now?
Right.
You know what I mean?
March Madness is here.
March Madness is here, but that was what, Thursday to Sunday last week?
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. So aside from those couple of days, you know, there's nothing else to really watch but that. Unless your team is, you know, really fighting for playoff contention, either the NHL or the NBA. But I just think it's the perfect time for it. I think it gets everybody. It's good for the sport in general. I mean, I don't know how people are going to argue that it's not good for the sport. You want more notoriety for baseball. More fans this is what's going to get it. Watching spring training does not get you amped up for baseball.
No, not at all.
At all.
Like, yeah.
But watching this, like a mini Olympics, so to speak, or a Olympic game, you know, I think it's great. We went over predictions. We all thought some people were crazy. The first guy that we talked about 2 weeks ago on our show that made the prediction that Japan and USA would be in the final. I'm like, this guy's out of his mind.
Yeah.
But of course, he ended up.
Of
course, I ate my words.
Right.
You know, and just like Seattle last year. You know what I mean? Like, so. And then it just so happened that Mike Trout kind of closed out the championship game, and he was struck out by his teammate Ohtani.
Yo, so that's both of their biggest at bats of their career. And the funniest part is
it was a close 3-2 game at that point.
Yeah, a lot of people were calling the World Baseball Classic meaningless. Well, those two are about to go play 162 meaningless games.
Yeah, together.
Yeah, together. So it's kind of nuts. It's kind of crazy to think that the best American baseball player and the best Japanese baseball player played against each other, and now they're on the same team and they can't get anything to happen.
Ohtani named MVP. I hold on. I'm sorry.
No.
You said every time I see his name, I can't reach the jar, but I'll just slide it over. We'll have to put it in the next break. I'm tired of putting money in this jar, by the way. I mean, we're a damn radio show. We have to say his name sometimes.
Right.
We can't not. It's not like I even mentioned him going to the Mets or anything. I'll put more money in that.
When I meet your future child or current, I don't know, whatever you believe in.
It's a first current fetus, future child, I guess you can say.
I'll be like, you know what? You don't have any diapers. Ohtani.
Ohtani named MVP. It was a great ending. Obviously, I thought so because the USA was in it against Japan, which we saw in the Olympics not too long ago, 2 years ago. So I think it's great for the sport. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And guess what? It wasn't just Mike and myself that thought it was great for the sport. There was record-breaking TV viewership. Championship, it was up 69% from the last time from
Nice.
2000 and yeah, nice from 2017. This is why I don't always. This is what
We'll
I would
always
do
be
if I
children.
wrote a news
Just,
outlet.
Yeah, round it down.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like 72.
yeah.
We're gonna go with
69,
69.
you know, 69% from the last World Baseball Classic. FS1 alone averaged 4.5 million viewers for the final, most watched game ever on a single network.
Wow. And FS1 is kind of hard to find on the dial.
Before I canceled cable, like, because now I stream everything, including MLB Network and all that other stuff. But FS1 was one of those, like, hey, we threw in 30 extra sports channels, and you're like, what is FS1? And you always turn on, it was always racing on or whatever, Fox Sports 1.
Right.
But I mean, no, FS1's not an easy channel to find. But everything was up. 3 of the 4 most watched games in the World Baseball Classics 5 tournament history occurred in 2023. The quarterfinal between Japan and Italy,
which Italy outperformed. I mean, Harvey might end up with a job. Mike Piazza could end up with a coaching job. So it was really cool to see. It was also really cool to see, like, Ken Griffey and people watching him take batting practice. So
that was insane.
That was nuts.
He still got it.
Yeah.
Come back, Ken.
And same with Mike too, man. He was hitting them out too. So, it was just cool to watch Major League Baseball players get to watch their childhood hero not only run a team but also like hit. So
yeah, I mean, between this, I think this barely beat out or almost beat out the Field of Dreams game, the first one that happened back in 2021. And then the most viewed after that was the New York Yankees versus Boston Red Sox, 4.72 in 2011. So, I mean, guys,
who cares?
It's great for the sport.
it is.
No matter what everybody thinks, it's great.
We're talking about it, man, right? So it obviously had to be great. And, I enjoyed it. And like I said, I think it was for the world. It wasn't for America. And, a lot of the people I ran into when we're talking baseball, they're like, oh, and then you'll have the World Series and it's only America in it. Like, you know what I mean? So we're kind of going back and forth with that type of stuff too. So, like, look, it's a long season. I get it. But this, like you said, it was 14 days. Like anybody could have done that.
No, it was quick. It was quick. The
it's
whole
just
format, it was great.
Yeah. And you can't do it in January. You can't do it in February because football just takes precedence, and you're not going to get the ratings. And I think it's the right time. Also, you need the players their bodies to heal. I also thought it was funny. I don't know if you saw this stat, but the Phillies outperformed the rest of Team America. They were essentially Team America.
They were. I did see that.
And
stat,
so
yes.
It's very fitting, Philly, that Team USA would lose in what game? The championship game. So
right on par for the season,
right.
boys.
So the Phillies during the World Baseball Classic were 368 batting average, 7 home runs, and a 1.25 OPS. The rest of Team USA, a 259 batting average, 5 home runs, and 0.819 OPS. So like they trumped, they almost doubled some of these numbers, and it's just crazy to look. And Philly's hot, man, and that team's hot.
And to that note, let's just roll right into the Hoskins injuries. Tore his ACL. He was fielding a ball, spring training. It's a huge.
Got carted off. You knew it was
right away.
problem.
You knew it was going to be bad. And you know what it made me think of? It made, not that because this was obviously during a game, but it made me think of
that you want to ban the spring training.
No, when Mariano Rivera tore his, I think it was
shagging
fly balls.
Yeah.
And it's again a freak incident. And when that happened, I was like, "What you doing shagging fly balls?" But like, who you're a professional athlete.
No more shagging.
You said you said Philly's a hot team. I want to know what Mike Powers has to say about where this leaves, what kind of hole this leaves Philly in for the season. You don't get Bryce back until what, September? If everything goes perfect.
July.
No, I thought it was later than that. August?
Let's
say
July's
August.
Best case.
July's best case.
Right.
All right. So you're already through a little bit more than half the season without Bryce Harper, and now you're out a full season with Rhys Hoskins. Does this ball club need to worry at all?
No, because I think they they upgraded with Trey Turner, right?
Mhm.
So the fact that think of it as last year you had Reese, but last year you didn't have Trey Turner, and where did you end up, right? What I do like is the shout outs to the Liberty line. They know baseball, they know Phillies, they know Philadelphia. Let's put it that way. They're suggesting you move Alec Boehm over to first.
Okay.
I don't hate that idea.
I don't either.
You know,
I don't either.
so I think that's a great move.
Who else would they? I was gonna say that would probably make the most sense. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of who else would step up to play first.
No, yeah, I don't know. Like, look, they're deep. You know, they have different options. You know, especially in the farm system. But I think that makes the most sense without having to get too crazy with everything that's going on. And hopefully, you know, no, I'm not going to say that. He's out for the season. Like you look at the Diaz injury, you look at that diagnosis.
They're not going to rush him.
He's
back.
gone.
They're not.
Yeah. So it's tough, but also like you could get a first baseman's. They're hitters. They're virtual DH nowadays. There's not much defense in a lot of these first basemen. There's a few that are really good. Freddie Freeman is amazing on the bag, and you know, but the days of, you know, Keith Hernandez, they're gone. Pete does a great job for the Mets, but he's not that great. Goldschmidt is great. He's a great defensive and offensive first baseman. But you know, you're not going to find that much, so you could get a bat and just throw him on that bag. And I hate saying that because I take pride at first base because I'm a lefty and I love playing that position. But
you need a good glove at 1st.
Mhm.
You do. You know, if you're going to call someone up just to go there without any good glove skills, that could definitely hurt you. That could put you in situations that you don't want to be in, especially you know, anytime you have guys on base, it's a threat. And look, I'm reading this right. Luke Voigt's got an opt-out date coming up in his minor league contract. So if the Phillies were desperate, go ahead and reach out to the Brewers. See if big old no-neck Luke Voigt wants to come on down with his opt-out. And you got yourself at least a professional first baseman that has a little bit of a glove to him.
yeah,
That won't be bad at all. We got to take a quick break. We're going over a little bit, guys. Coming up next, whose is bigger? What are you laughing at? Whose is bigger? A little competition. You might be able to win there, Philly. Stick around for the answer. This is The Divide live on Fox Sports The Gambler.
You're listening to The Divide right here on The Gambler.
I know you have all been on the edge of your seats.
are we measuring from the base?
We're measuring. I mean,
or the baseball.
These things are huge.
Yeah,
These things are humongous.
massive.
So whose is bigger? We have over at Citi Field and over at Citizens Bank Park, we're going to have a little whose is bigger competition. And I'm not talking about what you might be talking about. We're not measuring bats over here. We're not measuring balls over here. We're measuring scoreboards.
Yeah.
And it seems like you guys in Philly have had a little competition with Mike's home team over here, the Mets, with whose scoreboard is bigger. Now, both recently in the off season, both the Mets and Phillies have taken, I guess, different. What am I trying to say?
Upgrades?
Upgrades. There we go. Upgrades to their scoreboards. And looking at pictures of this, they're massive. And then there's, to me, before we get into it, I kind of want to know why. The quality looks great. I just watched the video in the break to where it looked like when they turned on the scoreboard for the Mets, someone played Mario Kart on it.
Yeah, they did.
And I had to ask you if that really happened because it looks so good. You know, when something looks so good, it's almost like fake. You're like, oh, dude, there's no way it's that clear. And then even the picture of Citizens Bank, the new one at Citizens Bank, I'm looking at one that just the quality of it is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you're a TV in your living room. Like that's how good. It's like not grainy at all. Do you have the stats on how big these things really are?
So I don't have the sizes, but somebody created a graph that showed which one was bigger.
Is it like, are we going to measure, like, you know how it's like Americans will use anything but the metric system? Are you going to tell me like how many washers and dryers it is?
Yeah. No. So the Mets have the edge, and honestly, there's a team you didn't even expect in the middle of Philadelphia and New York, and that's Cleveland. They actually have the second largest TV screen, Cleveland Indians. Now, here's the issue, and a lot of
Guardians.
Guardians.
Sorry.
God, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Yeah, Cleveland has the second largest, Philly has the third. The issue with the Mets scoreboard that we're starting to hear is they're afraid that it could interfere with the hitting because it's that large.
I don't see how it couldn't,
right.
man.
Yeah, and even Steve Cohen made a comment on the on the Twitter that Pete Alonso would watch the screen instead of the pitcher to be able to hit. So I don't know. Like it's huge, man. I think of it like as Dallas, like when they came out with that giant scoreboard and the kickers were kicking it.
They were punting into the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm afraid we just did the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? We just did the baseball version of that.
I'm wondering, like, why was it thought? Did anybody be like, hey, is this going to distract the hitters? And why do we really need a big scoreboard in baseball? You know, it's not
those replays, man.
I get it. Maybe most of the time it's just like someone's headshot and then their batting averages. And
it's just cool. And also the other cool part is the secondary scoreboard that's off to the other side, which is like the size of the old scoreboard. And then also they're kind of like took a play out of like hockey, and they have like scoreboards all over the dugouts too now. So it's kind of cool. It's really cool.
I mean, it's a cool upgrade. Maybe this will draw people to the ballpark. I mean, it looks insane.
Yeah.
It's
great for the advertisers too. Quickly put them on. You could put multiple on there. You could change them throughout. You know, you can make smaller packages with some of these companies. From the sales part of it, I think of it as a huge upgrade for both parks.
I want to know what we would look like up on these big scoreboards. I kind of don't though. Could you imagine?
We'll find out.
If like we'll cut a promo, we'll see if the Mets or Philly will play, and we'll just see if we're going to be up there. Like, are we built for the big screen, the big screen, the second biggest or the biggest screen?
That one time I was on the big screen at Yankee Stadium when I was sarcastically taking that banner. When
you were on the big screen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're like,
dude, that's you. Like, what? It's you.
So it's too funny. But,
man. Well, Philly, you got a nice little upgrade, if nothing else, in all your woes between Bryce Harper and Reese Hoskins and the unknown. You at least got a really big scoreboard. So
yeah. Third in scoreboards, hopefully third in the NL East.
Let's talk. Baseball is obviously right around the corner. The pitch clock was this whole ordeal all spring training, and MLB just said they made tweaks to the pitch clock rules. A little less, or now it's a little less, but at the time it was a little more before opening day. I read through these. Did you read through these?
I did.
It doesn't seem like, so it's nothing major. Spoiler alert. I was expecting to read this article like, in really big situations, the ump will blah, blah, blah. It's nothing like you think it might be.
Right.
If no one's on base, the pitchers still have 15 seconds to get their pitch off. Batters still have eight seconds, or have to be in the box ready for the pitch 8 seconds before the clock hits 8 seconds. If there are people on the base, players on the base, pitchers have 20 seconds. Pitchers have kind of found ways to maneuver with this clock and to kind of make them lethal. Like Scherzer, still trying to figure it out. But besides that, guys, the only thing these new rules really talk about, and we'll go through them with you, it says on malfunctions of the pitch comm unit, which is how the pitchers talk to the catchers with what pitch they're doing and how they kind of call their own game. If there's any malfunction, the catcher has to immediately inform the umpire, and the umpire will stop the pitch clock and grant more time.
I can see players using that and lying.
I want to know how they prove it, right?
The quarterback pretending he can't hear the play and call his own play when he doesn't want to listen to his head coach. But the difference is now they can manipulate the clock.
And the officiating, exactly.
Right.
So I don't know how you would even prove something like that.
Right. So there might be a post fine where they're like, actually your pitch clock, it was working fine. We
didn't see any sort of malfunction.
Yeah.
This one says new standards will be enforced for Batboys and Batgirls.
Yo, I'm cracking up about this.
Whose ability to quickly retrieve
exactly.
New standards. So anybody that has the ability to quickly retrieve equipment will help efforts speed up the game. According to the memo, the league will evaluate the performance of it's going to be the underwear Olympics, man. It's going to be a combine of Batboys and Batgirls. I might sign up, bro. I might hit me with the 40, see if I can still get it.
I love it.
It's amazing.
There's so many child labor laws that are going
It
to be.
says replace them if considered substantial. Some poor fat kid that loves baseball is going to be fired from his job at 16 years old.
The owner's kid.
Dude, exactly. Because they didn't get the bag quick enough.
I love it.
Oh my God. Just because we couldn't watch a game in under 2.5 hours.
Meanwhile, in Trenton, a dog
grabs a golden retriever grabs it and runs into left field because he's too excited. Exactly. Oh my God.
That's great.
This one I like. It says on brushback pitches and quote unquote big swings, which either knock equipment out of place or land a player splayed out on the ground, umpires can delay the start of the clock if the clock operator starts it early or have the ability to wave off the timer. This I like. That was a big concern. Like, okay, you get brushed back and then they have to run back in the box and try to get set again. So that was to me a necessary adjustment. Next one says in situations where pitchers find themselves away from the mound, whether to cover first base, backup throws to home or third foul territory, 30 seconds between batters, clock will be delayed. It restarts when the pitcher making a play at first is back on the infield grass. And when backing up plays is in fair territory. So that's kind of common sense. The rest, I got to be honest, guys, it's kind of boring. Leniency for catchers. Oh, who cares? And placing the onus on one hitter. Hitters may call timeout once in an at bat. Previously, the clock was starting 15 or 20 when players step into the batter's box, potentially holding the ball, blah, blah, blah. So no major changes.
Who cares?
Exactly. You're still going to get the pitch clock. Nobody else is getting out of it. I would like to see them in the playoffs. It's a playoff game.
Yeah.
Nobody cares if anything, people paying so much for tickets, they want the game to be long. I think in these bigger games, you need to either extend the pitch count if you still want it, or
let it slide. Yeah, like as long as the batter's staying in the box, like I have no problem with any of this.
Right.
You know, like he's got to stay in.
But if your season's on the line, it's come on. We got to do something here. So I don't know whether you want to call that big games or
I don't know. But what I will share is the difference between the World Baseball Classic not having these rules. Those games are so long.
They sure were.
What I was watching. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan of it all. I think the sport needed all this to kind of grow it. But yeah, you got to watch out. People are going to manipulate, and it's going to be a learning curve. So I wouldn't be shocked if 10, 12 games into the real season, there's a bunch of other amendments to the rules.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to see what situations arise. You know what I mean? Like I kind of, you want them to try to get it right first, but again, like you said, it's gonna be like a huge learning curve to begin with. I don't want them to pivot too much. I mean, you did all this work to make these changes, to make the game better and to draw new viewers to where you're just going to confuse everybody.
Yeah.
Like, no, we said we do this, but we don't like that. We don't like that.
Yeah. So far the changes, obviously, like you said, aren't changing that much. So I'm okay with the rules. Hilarious about the Batboys. I can't wait. You better hustle. You're gonna get replaced.
I want that to be a betting line.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want like how quick. Give me an over under on seconds for Batboy or Batgirl getting whatever.
I did take the Mets to be the first team to win 10 games this season, and I got it like plus 2,500. So I'm excited for that.
To win how many games? 10 games?
First team to 10. Yeah. I recommend you try to find one.
I'm going to try to find one right now real quick.
Yeah.
I want to know what the futures. I know a lot of people at this network hate future bets, but I really want to know what the Philly future looks like, especially after the Reese Cost.
Dude, I love them. I have UConn. Hopefully they win. I don't know. But I have them winning at plus 900, 950.
For who?
UConn winning March Madness. And I love futures, especially like I'm not gonna lie, I got the Phillies right before the playoffs started, like at plus 3,000.
Yeah, they're at plus 1,800 right now. After DK's got it at plus 18. They still got the Yankees sitting at plus 750, Astros at plus 600. Your beloved Mets are at 950. That went up obviously after the Diaz injury. Braves. The thing I love about these futures is if you're looking at the top 10, you have 1, 2, 3, teams from the NL East.
Yeah.
And then the Yankees and the Jays.
Did you see what
from the AL
Susan
East.
Wallman said on Foul Territory this week?
I did. I watched it, but then
Uh-huh.
are you referring to her?
Are the Yankees the team to beat?
Are they playing? Are they?
Are the Astros
those-
out of the league?
Yeah. Yeah. She had a ball with that one. So, hey, way to go, Susan.
It's been great, man. And Todd brought up the Astros cheating scandal and how, like, honestly, they didn't know it was going on. So, he's like, we can detect it. We knew something was weird. So it was cool. Like, they're unpacking a lot of stuff. And it's like kind of reading like those FBI like documents that get unclosed,
Mhm.
So,
I tell you, man, the more I'm looking at these futures,
mhm.
I'm putting my bank account on the Guardians, man.
Oh my God.
I am. Their odds are so disrespectful.
Dude, I get that, but they're like the new age. They're the Oakland A's, like the Moneyball Oakland A's.
No,
They're gonna be in the
not,
playoffs.
though. They
Put 'em in the
will.
playoff.
They're
So-
yeah.
So once they're in the playoffs, then just hedge that bet or something. I don't know.
Well, let's just see. Even to reach the playoffs, their odds are disrespectful. Where are we at here? Actually, they're not that bad. Minus 135 to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're gonna be in it. I don't think they're gonna win it. I mean, I'll be shocked, but I've said worse on the air.
Oh, man, we've all said worse on the air. Guys, definitely check out DraftKings Sportsbooks. Promo code BRACE to get your fix or winnings. Either one works because the boss has got two. You can use either one. I don't think you use both at one time, but it's so much easier than your other gambling apps there, guys. DraftKings Sportsbook by far. Hook up your bank account to it. Place a couple bets. Doesn't have to be parlays like Mike and I love so much. It could be futures. It could be in-game bets, whatever you may need. And baseball season is a long, long season. My co-host alluded at that before. Over 160 games. Things can get a little tiring. And the only thing to fix that tiredness is a little bit of caffeine. And I'm talking about no other than Fast Break Coffee, guys. Fast Break Coffee. It is the best coffee, hands down, you will ever get. Promo code GetMyFix. That's GET MyFix, FIX. Get My Fix promo code. Take some money off some coffee to help you through this long, long season. Get your Fast Break today with Fast Break Coffee. Head over to fastbreakcoffee.com. That is it for us for the week. We will be back. No more days off. It's officially baseball season by the time you hear our voices again. So that means we're working overtime. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. This was The Divide Live on Fox Sports The Gambler.